Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of Bookish. It's our second annual Noteworthy episode where we celebrate 10 Southern California authors whose works made an impact last year. I'm Sam Dunn, the Senior Editor of Premium Content here at SCNG. And before we get started, I need to thank our Reader Reward subscribers and really all of you who've made our ongoing virtual program so popular. And by the way, if you are a Reader Rewards member attending tonight, you're automatically entered to win a $100 gift card from our partner, Once Upon a Time. It's one of our favorite independent bookstores in Los Angeles County. And if you're not a subscriber yet, I got to say it, why not? Go to scng.com/subscribe to find your local paper and join us. Anyway, now it is my special pleasure to introduce our host of our Bookish virtual program. She is a writer, performer, and radio commentator who you might know from her work on NPR's Morning Edition and This American Life. She is a contributor to The Atlantic and a host of the syndicated Radio Minute, The Lowdown on Science, and she's an author of many books, her most recent being The Mad Woman and the Roomba, beaming to us from somewhere in the Bay Area today. Please welcome my friend Sandra Singlo. Hey, Sandra.
Hey, how am I doing without makeup, but with the soft lighting? Because
I would never have noticed, darling. Never.
Yes.
You're just beautiful forever.
Thank you so much. Well, Noteworthy, this is the second year of Noteworthy, which is so exciting how time flies. And Noteworthy, as we know, is described in Premium, the Southern California News Group, or SCNG's magazine that comes in your Sunday paper. Look how gorgeous that is. That's the only way to get it. You have to subscribe and get it in your Sunday paper, which is edited by you, Samantha. So congratulations.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yes, so 10 noteworthy books. We're going to talk about 10 noteworthy books of 2022. And some lists are best of lists, some lists are the most popular, but you and the staff at SCNG has chosen the term noteworthy. So tell us, what does noteworthy mean for you?
Really, I think we just don't think that the best of lists tell the whole story. At least when it comes to book, you read what you love and you enjoy what you love, period. But at the same time, it's true that every year there are certain authors and certain books that really strike a chord and impact the culture at large, often, in unexpected ways. They, if you will, strike the zeitgeist. So that's why we launched Noteworthy. And that's kind of just our salute, as selected by our editors, to Southern California authors whose books in the past year really helped shape conversations, and they got substantial attention from critics often, certainly from readers, and they made powerful statements, and they delivered, most of all, compelling reading experiences. So, they're connecting us, they're enlightening us, they're entertaining us, and they're inspiring us. They're doing what great literature just always does.
And frankly, we love to brag on, and why would we not, of California, of the reach of these local authors that are in our state that has sparked resonances nationwide. One of the books, I won't say which, was like Barack Obama's, one of his favorite books. So I think that's what we like to brag on, of local going far and inspiring the conversation. Okay, so your colleague, Southern California entertainment editor Erik Pedersen, joined us earlier today about and talking a little bit about covering all of these authors in the newspaper and in his newsletter. And if you don't subscribe now, get it now, the book pages. Let's roll tape and see what he said earlier today.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me on, everyone. I am here to talk about Noteworthy and the authors that we are celebrating here. I think what I would want to start with is, you think, why are we celebrating them right now? And I will tell you, we are celebrating them and covering them and talking about them all year round in our book section, across the newspapers, in all of them. These are all authors that we have already covered their books, interviewed them, talked about them. And for us here, we really believe in focusing on local authors, and not local in a kind of small town way, like we don't want to know, but supporting people who are here in our community and introducing you if you haven't met them yet. It's one of the great joys about this job is there's so much talent in our area. There's talent all around the world, and we also will cover other books and writers beyond here. But there's something really special about focusing on people who can see the world that we're seeing around us, and there's still a multitude of stories to be told, and that's what we try to do here. We try to get all of the kind of voices that this area, that Southern California contains. It's really amazing. It's a real gift to have that opportunity. And so you're going to be hearing from the authors soon, but I just want to thank everybody who reads the paper and who reads us online and who checks out all of our other ways to interact with our coverage of authors, books, booksellers, libraries, bestsellers. We really appreciate it. And so, you can, we join each other here in the virtual programming. So you're getting to see me on screen, and I'm sorry about that. But normally I'm in the chat, and today I'm here. And so that's one way that we do it. Another way is the Book Pages newsletter. I've been writing that now for over a year. Have you read it yet? Come on, be honest. It's okay. All right. I would love for you to check it out. It's free. It's got content that we don't always have in the paper. It's unique to the newsletter. I talk to booksellers, I talk to librarians, I talk to readers, I talk to authors. We also have some of our other writers doing Q&As with people. It's really rich. It's a great community, and it's growing. Just like the group that comes here, the weekly readers that we get in the newsletter are fantastic. So it's a place that I want to invite you to. It's the Book Pages. You can find it. There's links all over the place, and we'll have it in the chat too. And as we go forward, I just want to say we love doing this. We love supporting our community. We love supporting our readers to connect with people in the community. And I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful that you guys are here. And let's continue on to the Noteworthy. Thanks.
Awesome.
Totally awesome. And I also want to remind you that Erik is both online but he will be in the chat this whole time. So he is here with us in the chat. Please join the chat. You'll see I already said, Erik, you look great. And Janet Claire says, is there a link for the newsletter? And yes, there will be. So feel free to jump in on the chat. Erik is right there. Hi, Pat Burns. Hi, Joseph Matthews, Belinda Becerra, everyone, Edward. So please do that. Okay, so let us indeed,
let's turn to our 10 noteworthy books and their authors. So what do you
okay, and I'm first up in introducing, and first up we have Jon Cho. Okay, so you probably know him from acting roles on Star Trek and also the Harold and Kumar movies. Still hilarious, still amazing. Samantha's son Ben is watching them, and she's going, hot use is not good, or whatever. Anyway, so he's a hilarious comic actor, but last year he added successful writer to his resume. His middle grade reader, entitled Troublemaker, captured readers' attention and climbed to the ranks of bestseller lists, not just locally, but in the New York Times and IndieBound. It's really a terrific book, and boy, we really had fun talking to him also. But he made another hello and thank you video right now. So let's hear him talk about Troublemaker.
Hey everybody, this is Jon Cho. Thank you to Southern California News Group for selecting Troublemaker as a noteworthy book of 2022 and putting us in such stunning company. It's a particular honor as I consider myself an Angelino. The book takes place in Glendale, where I went to high school, and as well as Koreatown, where I spent a lot of time. The idea for the book was born out of the first few months of the pandemic, when we were stuck inside trying to process not just COVID, but the anti-Asian violence, the murder of George Floyd, the ensuing Black Lives Matter movement. We were trying to process it for ourselves, and perhaps with more difficulty trying to process it for our children who were not going to school and stuck at home with us. And that process led me to revisit the eerily similar events that led to the 1992 Los Angeles uprising / riots, and thus the book was born. I'm so gratified to be acknowledged by the Southern California News Group, as it was paramount to myself and my co-author Sarah Suk, that it read as authentic, even though we didn't personally know anyone who was affected directly. We reached out to those who did, and we peppered details from our own lives to create a Korean American family that we recognized as authentic. So thank you, Southern California News Group, for supporting authors and encouraging reading. And to any aspiring authors out there, if you think you got a book in you, if this guy can do it, you definitely can. Thanks. Bye.
Love that. Love that.
He's
Well-
so, and I just want to say the one thing that growing up in Glendale, his dad, and he said, I want to be an actor, Dad. And his dad said, oh, how about a newscaster like Connie Chung? Like, so, and he's so humble and so funny, but also so serious and thoughtful.
He
I just
is
wanted to
so
say
wonderful. Yeah, we'll have to put the link to the previous episode in so people can go back and watch that as well. But anyway, from first-time author Jon Cho to, you know, a veritable literary icon of our region, we've got Riverside Susan Straight. She's known for an impressive body of work that usually explores the beauty and the community and honestly the harshness of life in the Inland Empire. And last year's novel, Mecca, explored the interconnected lives of average people just trying to find meaning, trying to get by. It's our reviewer called it at the time the antithesis of the Hollywood novel, right? There are no ingenues or agents,
Nope.
nobody's trying to make it big in the business. So let's just hear what Susan has to say.
Hi, I'm Susan Straight. I'm coming to you from Riverside, California, just a few blocks from where I was born in my original Orange Grove farmhouse. I couldn't be more thrilled that Mecca's been chosen by the Southern California News Group as one of their favorite books of 2022. It means a lot to me because my very first journalism job when I was 19 was as a sports writer for the Riverside Press Enterprise. And I remember driving all over the place, Santa Ana, Mission Viejo, Santa Margarita, also to San Bernardino and LA counties from Riverside. So this is really, it's really special for me. Mecca takes place all over our beloved landscapes. One of the main characters, Johnny Frias, is a California Highway Patrol motorcycle officer, born in the Chino Hills, living in Santa Ana, and patrolling 225 miles of the freeways, which so many of us know well. Another main character is Jimena, who is working in Los Feliz for a very reclusive woman named Miss Bunny. And Jimena was based on someone I met in the Coachella Valley some time ago. I also really wanted to write about what our landscape looks like during COVID. Grief Embers, one of the other main characters, is a San Bernardino County Animal Control Services officer. And that's because, as we all know, you had bobcats in warehouses and coyotes roaming free during COVID. His wife Lorette is an ICU nurse at St. Bernardine, and their son Dante is someone who wants to be an astronomer. All these characters stayed in my mind for years, and to have them come together in this novel, it was really special. So thanks for watching this. You have to know if it's a little shaky, I don't have a selfie stick. So my phone is actually taped to a spatula. And I love that you guys get to know that. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy Mecca.
And I love that she's using a spatula for herself.
how Inland Empire is that, as I like
Yeah,
to say.
right? Ingenuity for
Great.
sure.
So, you know, and I think what one of the things I love about Noteworthy is just these incredible local references that we're always aware of, and also within that the diversity of viewpoints here that we experience. And so, for instance, our next Noteworthy author is Melissa Chadburn, who lives in San Bernardino County, and she really did that, like show these diverse viewpoints with her book A Tiny Upward Shove, a novel that uses stunning language to weave together murder mystery, tragedies of the foster care system, Filipino mythology, and a love story. And what I want to say, having just devoured this book, it is both with some of the foster care system stuff. It's tragic, but it's also infused with hope and beauty. And so this book, even though if I gave you the log line of some the things that would happen, you go, ah, but it's so beautiful and hopeful also. And I think the Filipino mythology was fascinating. So it's a finalist for a Pen Award and it makes dozens of best of lists. Not bad for a get this debut novel. So
Yeah.
Melissa Chadburn, A Tiny Upward Shove. Let's roll the tape.
Hey there, Melissa Chadburn here. I just wanted to make this quick video to thank Southern California News Group for this wonderful honor. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought I would be recording a message like this. For quite a long time, Filipinos have made Southern California a vibrant and delicious place to live. Yet there's a dearth of Filipino representation in contemporary literature. At every reading I've given, at least one person has come up to me and said I'm the first Filipino author they've ever met. I've taught in really urban places within Southern California, and I've had students say that I'm the first Filipino professor they've ever had. So that's representation, but this is something even grander. This is recognition. And I am so completely grateful to everyone that has made this possible. Thank you so much. Thank you for reading. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for the recognition and attention.
Oh, thank you for seeing me. Man, just touched my heart, I swear.
Yeah, and I want to say also in the chat, I mean, we're seeing stuff about people who've loved Mecca, read it. Linda Bowen loved Mecca, eager to read Susan's next book. And Monica is in a cool book club. Monica Hahn, they just read that in their book club. So it's like, I think these readers who are on, I mean, we just have grown with our viewers in this program, that they really are the people that Melissa's talking about. Back to you.
Well, I love that. And they'll have more recommendations because next up is Rasheed Newson. He made his mark as a TV writer for shows like Bel Air and Narcos, but he really got people's attention with this first novel, My Government Means to Kill Me. It's a coming of age tale about a young gay man's experiences during the early AIDS pandemic. And, even if the New York Times had named it a notable book of 2022, and then there was a nod from the New York Times Book Review Editor's Choice and others, I mean, we would have given this book a shout out. Here's Rasheed, and he can tell you a little bit more about his experience.
Hello, my name is Rasheed Newson, and I'm the author of My Government Means to Kill Me. And I'd like to thank the Southern California News Group for choosing my novel, along with all the other great books on this list, for distinction. I'm really proud to be among this company, and I'm also very delighted that this happened because I spent 2 years writing this book with this voice in my head that kept telling me that I didn't know what I was doing, that the book wouldn't turn out very well, and that even if people read it, they wouldn't care. I'm glad none of that turned out to be true. And I'd like to say to other writers that you can actually do good work with doubts echoing between your ears. What I did to get over it is every morning when the doubts would start to creep up on me, I would just very firmly and politely say, we'll see about that. I hope that tip works for you.
We'll see about that.
You love it? We'll see about that. But I can't say it quite as cool as he said, like, we'll see about that. But it's really fantastic. And I just want to tell you, Samantha, it's like, yes, the chat is really blowing up. And I think that Monica is talking about their book group, that also their next book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. That's why they're here. So I think there's some special book groups that are that we love. And I don't know if these book groups have names, like the book.
Yeah, tell us your book group names.
So that is great that we're so engaged with the readers, and also what he said is, he's so inspiring to writers who are writing also. All right, so next up we have on my iPad, debut novels. We have so many of them getting people's attention, and the next one is no exception. It's Laura Warrell got so much attention with her debut novel, Sweet, Soft, Plenty Rhythm, which I also loved, which is about a jazz musician, I gotta say, named Circus Palmer, which is a fantastic name. And the women in his orbit, it's sort of like a Don Juan, but about the Don Juan's women, and those characters are almost stronger than him, and they have their own stories, and that's what makes it a particularly fantastic book. It's one of People Magazine's top books of 2022, a GMA Buzz pick. That's Good Morning America for those of you. One of the Oprah Daily favorite books of the year, and made best of lists from NPR, Kirkus Book Lists, and wait, there's more. Apple Books named her among its writers to watch, and I got to say, it's a fantastic read, and
you're gonna love Laura
love
too.
it. So let's hear it from Laura now.
Hi, my name is Laura Warrell. I'm the author of Sweet, Soft, Plenty Rhythm. This is my debut novel, and I want to thank the Southern California News Group from the bottom of my heart for including my book as one of the noteworthy books of 2022. I am so honored. I was thrilled when I got the news, and I'm so grateful to all of you and to everyone who made this possible. One of the things I've talked a lot about in the year or so that I've been talking about the book in my career is how long it took to get here. I've been writing all my life. My mother has the first book that I wrote when I was 6 years old. When I graduated from college, I tried to get a book published. It was terrible, but that was when I was 25 years old, and it took me 25 years, 5 books. This is my 5th book, and 50 agents. I queried 50 agents and then finally got the agent who helped me sell this book. And I mention this to once again emphasize how touched and honored and grateful I am to have this recognition, and also to encourage anybody out there who still has a goal or a dream, particularly a creative goal, and it feels so far away and impossible. I'm just here to say it's not impossible. Dreams can come true, and it might sound corny, but it's true, and I am so glad to receive this honor. So thank you very much. I'm so thrilled.
Dreams can come true. Okay, I'll stop.
50 agents. Oh my goodness. Yes, amazing. Go on. Sorry.
No, I will stop singing.
No.
Run away in absolute horror. But anyway, yeah, that was so inspiring. But okay, so now we're moving from the sexy world of jazz to a story about a church search committee looking for a new pastor. Yes.
But
yes.
a fantastic book, a fantastic read.
A fantastic read that galvanizes you. Altadina's own Michelle Huneven garnered a lot of critical acclaim over the years for her novels. But this one last year, Search, was really unexpectedly galvanizing. And it had an interesting technique. It was written as if it were a memoir of the main character. And wait, with recipes. You have to read it to see. It will completely charm you.
I just want to say, Kathy Strobin says a shout out to Altadena. Thank you.
Yes.
Go on. Sorry.
Altadena in the house. NPR named it one of the best novels of the year, and we totally agree. Michelle's going to tell you a little bit more about herself and the book.
Hello, I'm Michelle Huneven. I'm the author of Search. And the whole time I was writing it, I wondered who would want to read a novel about a Unitarian church searching for their next minister. Apparently, readers shared that skepticism. A book about a search for a new pastor for a Unitarian church? What? I never thought I would be totally engrossed in a novel about a search committee. I thought this would be kind of dull, but actually I loved Search. Interesting story for a topic I had no connection to. Who knew a novel about a 9-month search for the perfect minister could be so engrossing? I was pretty sure the subject matter would not interest me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and hated to see it end. I wasn't sure what to make of Search by Michelle Huneven. While I enjoyed it and will recommend it, I still can't decide why Huneven decided to write it. A thoroughly enjoyable book about a committee at a church formed to find their new pastor? Yes. And finally, my favorite reader review from Katie on Goodreads. People have been labeling The Wheel of Time as the next Game of Thrones, but they're mistaken. This is the next Game of Thrones. Thank you.
I love that so much.
It's hilarious. And it's so fun to see writers talk about their work close up because she has such a sense of humor. And then you also get to see their pottery.
Yeah.
Think about that. Also, do you know, were you looking at the Game of Thrones with pottery and her fantastic writing?
Only on Bookish do you also get the pottery. Now, I would say that. That's
And Monica O'Neill says she has to read Search. Yes, and her church is looking for a new pastor also. And Erik also enjoyed the ceramics. So
I know.
okay. Yes. So next up is Reyna Grande. Since her acclaimed 2012 memoir, The Distance Between Us, LA's Reyna has grown into a leading voice for Mexican Americans and is a well-respected advocate for Latino literature in general. Her novel, The Ballad of Love and Glory, cements that reputation. It is sweeping. It's a sweeping epic about the Mexican-American War of 1846, which shows how lives were torn apart and how our nation was in many ways actually defined by that conflict, and it's amazing read. So you'll learn a lot, and also it's a page turner. So let's hear Reyna talk a little bit about it.
Hi, my name is Reyna Grande, and I am the author of the novel A Ballad of Love and Glory. I am so grateful to the Southern California News Group for including A Ballad of Love and Glory in their Noteworthy list of 2023. This is my first historical fiction novel, and I spent 7 years writing and researching the history of the southern border. I wanted to learn more about how the border between Mexico and the United States was created, and so I researched and I wrote this novel that takes place during the U.S. invasion of Mexico of 1846, which led to Mexico losing half of its territory, including the state of California, where I have lived for most of my life. This is a war story, a love story, and an immigration story. I really hope that you pick up the book and that you learn a little bit more about this history, about the complex relationship between the U.S. and Mexico, and how the southern border was created. It really helped me to learn, and it empowered me so much when I understood this history, especially as a Mexican, as an immigrant, and as a border crosser. Thank you so much for including A Ballad of Love and Glory, and thank you for supporting me and empowering me as a Mexican American writer.
Yay, I love that. You know, one thing about speaking about community in Southern California and the literary community, I've known Reyna since she first began, and it is amazing and so gratifying to see writers develop and mature and come into their power. And she's one of the ones you think of when you think of that.
Yeah, and very organically, and in Los Angeles, a tree that's growing the way that tree particularly wants to grow. And I don't know if that was a Picasso behind her as well, but no, and very inspiring, and very diverse group of writers.
Well, speaking of which, from a sweeping epic, now we go to a really tight psychological thriller. Antoine Wilson's Mouth to Mouth was one of former President Barack Obama's favorite novels of 2022. It also nabbed a spot on lists for best books of the year by NPR and Time Magazine, plus Vogue Magazine and Esquire and others. We won't go on. Let me tell you what happens. Two old college acquaintances run into each other in an airport, and then, trust me, things get weird, and you don't want to stop reading this novel. Here's Antoine telling us about it.
Hey, it's Antoine Wilson here, and I'm honored and delighted that the Southern California News Group has chosen my novel, Mouth to Mouth, as one of its 10 noteworthy books of 2022. So thank you so much. This book, though short, was long in the making and a difficult birth, so to speak. And so it's especially gratifying to receive some recognition and positive response from from readers. So thank you very much.
Short and sweet. Just
Short
like
and
a
sweet.
novel.
Short and sweet. And so I just want to go back. Let's return to Monica Hahn, who's in our chat with, I believe is the name of the book club, Chicks and Books. Chicks and Books. How cool that is. And we can't steal it for us, but they have it, Chicks and Books. And I bring that up because Chicks and Books is going to be reading, as Monica said, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, which is our next book by Gabriel Zeven. She captured readers' imaginations with this book, Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Tomorrow, a riveting tale of video game creators in Los Angeles. How fantastic is that? Who strike up a friendship over video games. It's so interesting. This book is so interesting. The book topped bestseller list. It was like an instant sensation and earned Best Book of the Year nods from so many outlets, to name a few: New York Times, Washington Post, Time, Book Page, and Kirkus. It was also a winner of the Goodreads Choice Award. And let's not forget a certain guy called Jimmy Fallon, who gave it a shout out when he picked it for his book club, which is pretty cool. I love that he is reading. I think he's adorable. He's reading books, all good. So here's Gabrielle. Let's listen to her talk.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Zeven, and I'm the author of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Thank you so much to the Southern California News Group for selecting my book as one of the 10 notable works by Southern California authors. It's a great honor for me because I definitely see the book as being part of a grand tradition of California literature. I've been studying the literature of California long before I even lived in California, and I've always been fascinated with the way California is depicted in both film and in books. You know, I think for us, California and going west symbolizes so many different things, but particularly the idea that you can reinvent yourself as someone new. And it's the place you go to pursue your fortune and leave everything you were behind. And that is definitely one of the ways it functions for my characters in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So the book is about love, art, video games, and time. It's the story of Sam Mazer and Sadie Green, who have a 30-year friendship and artistic collaboration. You know, they probably love each other more than anyone else in their lives, but they're not together in any of the usual ways. And so their relationship poses kind of a puzzle for them. Like, what would you do if the most important person in your life wasn't any of the usual suspects? What if it really was your colleague and your friend? So thank you so much again for choosing me. And I look forward to the unveiling of the rest of the list and reading all of these books.
I love how humble she is. You know, this book has been on bestseller lists for over a year now, and she's
a
just
huge sensation, and just so it's like you're talking to a friend, if you will, and friends, which would again, Chicks and Books is going to overtake this because now 3 people: Kathy Price, Monica Hahn, Lisa Hingley, they're having a whole chat out, and we're and we're hanging out with them. So we love hanging out with our book groups as we go, and I think what strikes me just in the in putting together these authors and listening to them talk about their work is how many, they never say, I knew this was going to be a surefire success. I just had this brilliant idea and I wrote it. I mean, so many of them that they didn't realize that their work would strike any kind of chord at all. They were full of self-doubt, et cetera, and that it wasn't a done deal at all, in any way, shape, or form. So I guess the lesson is, people, writers, readers, write it and they will come. You have to finish the book though. In fact, I think that one of the greatest examples of this was our final noteworthy author, Tess Gunty, incredibly celebrated at age 30, won the National Book Award this year for her debut novel, The Rabbit Hutch. And yes, and she's so, she's so composed and thoughtful, and her audiobook is amazing. She reads it. You think it was a done deal when she had this idea, but no, this is what she told us on a recent episode of Bookish.
That's right. Yeah, I decided to print it out and bind it at FedEx and then put it on my shelf and move on.
Because why? Because the conventional wisdom from publishing was what?
Well, I think I had heard from a few people that I really trusted that publishing was risk averse, and that, especially for literary fiction, which of course is a risky business inherently, it's yeah, it's just that your first novel can't be too strange. If it's too peculiar, then there's not going to be a market. And so the advice was to, maybe save this for a future publication, but you can't possibly. And it wasn't advice that was given to me like in response to this novel. It was in response to other things I'd been writing. But yeah, I guess I had just been so, I had received that kind of advice, and then I had also just internalized a lot of rejections up until then. So I thought, there's no way. No one's going to want to read this. It's too peculiar.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, she didn't send it out. She bound it like at Office Depot, bound it and put it on her shelf and didn't send. I mean, it's like unbelievable. She's like so humble.
And she won the National Book Award. I mean,
at 30. So that's amazing. And again, I think that what I love it is our chat also, like Patricia Dreyfus says, Library Live is a group that brings authors to the Newport Beach Library. Sam's been there. You can come next author, February 23rd, Omar El Akid. Jan P says to the host, love the list. Can't wait to hear them all. Kathy Strobin says, let's get some of these female authors to the next Literary Women event in Long Beach next year.
And speaking of which, we in this issue of Premium All About Books, we have a whole list of places to get you started, where we talk about Library Live and other places that you can see authors you love and maybe be introduced to some new ones too. So check that out.
This is kind of Zoom. We're talking over each other. I'm looking in the chat, giving shout outs. You're holding up a magazine to the screen. It's so old school.
I know.
And that's why Mary Louise Plavak says, I love Noteworthy. Thanks so much for hosting it. And the chicks in the area. So and the chicks are the Chicks and Books are in the Bay Area. We love our Bay Area viewers as well.
That's where you are right now. I can't believe it's only 5:37 and we're already done. Thank you, everybody. Can you believe it? Did we forget anything? Eric in the chat, did we forget anything? No.
Yes, Eric's newsletter, everyone, it's great fun. And again, let's keep the conversation going. Like, we love doing this. We love hearing from you. We love hearing you chat and giving your shout out. So
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And you know what? Thanks to all of our authors. Really, we couldn't have done this without everybody's participation. And of course, thank you, my friend Sandra and Eric, and who you haven't seen is our tireless production manager, Julie, the Oz behind the curtain.
Let me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but before you sign off, Joanne DeFlon says, I would love for my book club to see this. So fabulous. We would welcome all book clubs to come hop aboard. Chicks and Books, it could be Guys and Books, hop aboard. Linda Bowen wants to know when the next Bookish is. It's next week, is it?
Well, wait, I've got details on all of that. If you want to see all of our back episodes of Bookish, not only if you're here today, you're going to be sent a recording, but if you want to see all of our back episodes rather, go to scng.com/virtual events and you can check everything out we've done for the last 2+ years already. Can you believe it? Anyway, we hope you're going to join us again for the next Bookish in 2 weeks, which is February 17th, when our guests are going to include A Dog's Purpose author and screenwriter W. Bruce Cameron talking about his new book, and novelist Deepti Kapoor. I'm sorry, Deepti, if I messed that up at the beginning. Deepti Kapoor and Catherine Ma. Anyway, until we see you again, keep up with all of our great books coverage and our interviews with authors. Read the newspapers online or in print, and subscribe to that Book Pages newsletter, you guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much again. Bye.